Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. So today's video is going to be about H.J.R. 192. We're going to be discussing the 1933, obviously, gold standard. And we are also going to be talking about James Truscott U.S. speech, the bankruptcy United States Congressional Record, March 17, 1933. 1993, not 33, it's in 1993, volume page H-1303. I'll put it at the bottom there so people can read this. This is discussing monies and currencies of the United States. Now, it discusses H.J.R. 192. Now, people said this is a remedy. I want to state for the record that this is not a remedy. It was appealed under the Public Law 95-147, the joint resolution entitled Joint Resolutions to Assure the Uniform Values to Coins and Currencies of the United States, approved in 1933. 31 U.S.C. 463, basically any obligations or obligations before or after that was implied shall not be enacted before or after the date of H.J.R. 192, which so any debt or obligation after 1933 will not be held. In other words, so what you want to do is you want to accept the deficiency of the charges. So let's say you get a let's see, I have a letter here. Let's just say this letter came from the bank, right? And the bank says I owe them 50 G's. Or I owe them $100,000 on my mortgage. What I would do is, obviously, I would accept the deficiencies of the debt. I would say, okay, I owe you that amount of money. Well, because they have created the liability, they're actually responsible for discharging the debt of that liability and adjusting the account to zero. Now, remember that you are the principal and the source. The person who sent you the bill, such as a company, become the forebearer. Hold on. Their testimony.
Hey, I'm gonna throw more of your laundry in here, alright?
Thank you. Their testimony becomes it becomes the forebearer, the burden of testimony. So when they signed their signature became their testimony saying, yes, this is true and correct to the best of my knowledge. What you want to do is request that the circuit court deputy to take the deficiency and charges of the action and put it on the circuit court docket and call the calendar and call the bailiff or broker in the charge and adjust it to zero. Obviously, you want to adjust the account to zero. So you want to adjust the fiscal year and the calendar together to make one whole year. And then you would request that they release any. Obviously, you would ask them you would ask them to deliver the same principal, requesting release of commodities, putting the whole account into one account, releasing the order of the court to be released to the principal, which obviously that's you. And that obviously would then discharge any obligations, which if you look at the term obligations of the United States, you can actually find it under the 80th Congress, Session 2, chapters 645, June 1948. Remember, there's a difference between the public laws in the statutes. If you are actually identified in chapters 48, stat 112, and these actually identify statutes. The statutes were later changed to apply to us. Now, the goal is to discharge the value of the debt. Now remember, there always has to be some type of commodity or some type of backing. If they say that there is no commodity or anything backing the dollar, then you have the right to discharge the deficiency of that debt that has been applied to you. Let's say you had like a $90,000 bail, and you ask them, Your Honor, I have some questions about the debt. Does this debt come with any sorry, hold on here a second. What you want to ask is, can I pay a debt in values of gold, substance, barters, or commodities? If they say no, then that means you have to pay with FRN note. Then you would say, well, I would ask, obviously there's obviously no contract there, because obviously in common law, if you have something that's a value, you want to exchange a good or valuable consideration, and since there's nothing backing the dollar bill, and now you have just got the judge to admit that there's nothing on the dollar bill, and there's nothing backing that, you can discharge the amount and ask them to do exactly what I just said, is to put the account into one whole account. And this would allow an individual to also make claims with insurance, because remember, these are made in your names. So these bonds are made in your names. That's money they owe you. They owe you $25,000, or they owe you $100,000, or they owe you $50,000, or whatever type of money that they owe, because they created the liability. They are also responsible for discharge of that liability. Remember, they can't use your name without your written signature. You have to give your signature in order for them to do this. This even applies to third parties. Now, I wanted to make this video so people would know this, because people have been getting bad information and have been getting information that is incorrect. I also wanted to discuss taxation, because people need to know what is a tax. Well, if you hold on here a second, I think I passed it. What is a tax? If you look at first off, if you look at USC 15-1127. So first off, remember, all courts are commercial courts. These are all these courts are civil. These courts are actually committing acts of business. Now, if you look this up in your Dun & Bradstreet, you'll find that they're business. Now, I want to actually show you, if I can actually find it here in this book. I had it bookmarked, but due to the fact that I needed that paper, I had to pull it out, so now I gotta go searching through it again. Remember, every crime is considered a commercial obligation. If you look up CFR 2772.11, remember, these laws are almost similar. The lesser laws are the same laws, they're just using different wordings. Now, if you look at things like swindle, confidence games, attempting, conspiring, committing, compounding, ill fame, extortion, swindling, confidence games, attempting, larceny, robbery, ill sales, sales of possession, deadly weapons, these are all considered commercial crimes. These are all business crimes, and crimes of money and financing, because they don't want their business interfered with. So 27 CFR 7211. And the reason why you are actually taxed is because you're taxed under your commercial name under 151227. Now, this is your trade name, your jurisdiction name, your business name. Now, the reason why you are levied is because you are applied under the 26 USC 6331 levy and restraint, which allows you to be taxed. Specifically states, levy may be made upon accrued salary or wages of any officer, employee, or elected official of the United States of the District of Columbia, or any agency or instrumentality of the United States of the District of Columbia. So, this is a question that should be answered because I'm not an employee, I'm not an officer, I'm not an elected official, I'm not an agency or an instrumentality of the United States. So that's an interesting concept of taxation. Now I started to do research into the United States Constitution and some of the 14th Amendment. Well, the 14th Amendment was, if you look at Congress's November 26, 2008 CSR report for Congress, page 5, which is CRS-2 top paragraph 12, which makes it clear. Executive Order 6 ordered the 14th Amendment ratified. Executive Order 7 ordered the 14th Amendment lawfully and published. Now, last time I checked, they told Trump you can't amend the Constitution or do anything to the Constitution like that. Well, if they couldn't do it, then sure as hell our founding fathers could not do it. Come to find out, those are not even real executive orders. The real ones were actually made clear in Proclamation 11 and Proclamation 13, which never had the signature of the President, only the Secretary of State. And I've actually looked this information up myself, and actually have found this information. Now, this is very, very interesting that we're all being taxed as employees or whatever they're trying to assume us as. Remember, the 14th Amendment, that means civil rights does not apply to us. That means all these laws that we think are applying to us don't actually apply. Because they did it through fraud and deceit. Now, I also have found that the United States is actually a private business. I actually have gone through the trouble. Obviously, we have everybody knows about executive orders that are in place that created the United States, the state that was created in 1871 through the Organic Act. But I actually found that Delaware, in the state of Delaware, if you look here, the state of Delaware, printed from the website here, you'll find, hold on here a second, let me get my other version of it. It's not super heavy, hold on here a second. This is actually the Social Security Administration business in the state of Delaware. So this is the actual document that's actually telling you that, yes, we're a business. Now, GATT has actually stated that it is mandatory. GATT is the General Free Trade and Tariff Agreement that is created. Now, to me, that seems like it would be fraud. I actually found a business, the United States of America Incorporated in D.C. This is a real entity. You can look up the numbers there on the side. You can see the filing number. You look up the filing number, you'll find it. It is a business. It's a corporation. It's a private enterprise. You are not a United States citizen. So when you vote, when you're voting for presidents and you're paying taxes to foreign entities. Now remember, under the Foreign Agent Act, they are mandatorily obligated to do so and file a Foreign Registration Act. And by them not filing a Foreign Registration Act, they have actually implicated themselves in crime. I also found an Executive Order 1 from the Treasury. And they actually have stated here that the Secretary, this is about the the block that was made, the blockade. This is what actually started some of it off. Abraham Lincoln was actually killed because of the Greenback Initiative. And I actually had gone through the trouble to find executive orders from this. I want to thank the American Presidency Project. Executive Order 6102 filed by Roosevelt declaring bankruptcy. So we are a bankrupt country, but most of the debt that is owed because they haven't gave us gold, silver, bartered, or commodities and actually paid us with actual physical money. We are the ones that are owed that debt money, not China or any other country what people think. And this is just a small fraction of what is owed. Some of it, yes, is owed, but again, I just reiterate: it's a private enterprise, a private corporation. You are not a 14th Amendment citizen. It does not apply to you. You do not have to pay taxes. Taxes are illegal and unlawful. And I know that's going to feed into people's whole, oh, well, he's a sovereign citizen bullshit. But I'm not a sovereign. I just can discharge any debt that is obligated to me due to the fact that there's no bartering commodity that can be exchanged regarding this. Now, you have to remember that there was a Senate bill for lawyers that was created and this is a Public Law 94-201 and 94-381, which states that only that a officer of the court can construe unrestricted the law to mean anything they want. So they can construe it to mean anything they want. So what is justice? Well, justice is whatever we want it to be. This is why they really wear the blindfold. This is why justice is blind. I give me a second. I want to go grab something and show you even more because people who are watching this should know. You have remedies under the Statute 609, Fair Debts and Collection Practices Act. If you look under your local state statute and you look up a legal tender in your state, you'll find, in my state anyway, in the state of California, I found that there's a way to actually discharge through the state level, through the state constitution anyway, the debt that's owed. I also want to state that the state during the pre-Revolutionary War and Civil War side was funded actually by it was funded actually by the King of England, which I believe was King James at the time. I believe, or one of those kings. The United States has been defrauding people for years and been getting away with it. But I want to show that I want to show people that when people are saying this, they actually are saying what's truth. They just don't have the proper paperwork to show it. Now, if you look up United States Corporation in Delaware, you'll find that which United States are you in? Are you in the United States of America Incorporated? Where are you paying your taxes at? Where you are actually paying your taxes and fees? Now, in 1993, listed on page 73, there was an Executive Order 120803 that was actually signed by Mr. Clinton, Bill Clinton himself, that actually showed we were in bankruptcy. And again, we went into bankruptcy in 1988 and 2008, as well as the other times in 1933 in the big crash. And so history has shown that what we're doing is not working, but yet these executives, CEOs, and Wall Street bankers keep doing what they're doing, and they're going to collapse the economy.
Yeah, I was like confused.
Give me a second here, and I will show you the actual document.
Okay, that's a room here and out. Well, yeah, I already got this rice going. Got all the stuff out through this. This is I'm up in the shower on top of it. Do you want? Do it here like or do you want?
So yeah, no. So give me just a second.
Okay, I'm gonna go down to the shower right now.
So I want to show these again to reiterate. The Treasury Department is a business. It's a private corporation. The U.S. Treasury has not existed since 1921. Social Security, Health, and Education. It's also an entity business corporation. 28300 15A. United States of America Incorporated is a business. Now, keep in mind that in 1988 and in 2000, there was an investigation for Social Security fraud, birth certificate fraud, and they were using these to gain employment and creating citizenships, and this was actually investigated. Now, this is an interesting one that I dug up, is the Central Intelligence Agency. I actually found other agencies. If you look up in the state of Delaware, you'll find that the United States has a bunch of different entities, including Army Intelligence and the works. Again, this is the information here. You can see there clearly that we are dealing with more than one entity, and we need to know. You have to know what entity you're dealing with. Hold on a second. Executive order. This is just the first page. I have the other pages. But the debt can only be discharged through going through the circuit court and going through that procedure that I've told you. This is the only way to discharge any debt, and this can be used for phones, electric bills, anything that you're sent monthly, a bill, or some type of document. Remember that these are negotiable instruments under the UCC 3-419. Remember, they're creating currency. You can see Stank versus White. And Stank versus White is STANEK versus White. It was 1927 in the Minnesota Supreme Court. Now, any court that's upheld in the Supreme Court should be upheld in today. And these are all considered commercial crimes. And the fact that we are being taxed and that these taxes are obsolete and that these individuals are defrauding people by telling them that they can discharge their debt using the UCC1. You can, but it's only for the amount that was actually accosted to you, not more or less, unless you're owed that. Like me, I am owed. Personally, I am owed again, under the 151127, I am owed under the under my own copyright. I have actually filed a copyright for my trade name and actually have gone through the procedures of protecting myself. Now, these things do work. If you use the fiduciary 56 form and you make yourself the fiduciary, yes, that does affect you. You make yourself you have to also have your attorney in fact attached to that. Because if you don't have your attorney in fact attached to that, there's no contract attached to that. Everything is a commercial contract, a business. The United States does have 2 flags. DC has 2 flags. See Reporters, 2nd Series, Volume 540, page 941, 942, 1975. These businesses act outside of their capacity and they create liability. Now, when you sign your name, you will sign your name as the liable one. Imagine if you were to sign the judge's name or make the judge a trustee. Remember, you can assign others trustee of states and make others liable. I have used it on judges and made judges liable. They immediately jump back when you start making them trustees and start pointing out the trustee, the executor, and asking questions. The cust number and the auto trust number are numbers that are tracked. Those are numbers that are tracked financial services. You can file W-2s for your employees, such as the judge and others, lawyers, people who are working for you or have worked for you. You can tax those. Those cases are taxable. If you look up the fiduciary form fiduciary 56 form 2019, and you look at section 3, it actually talks about courts being taxable, except bankruptcy tax. So these are things that people should know. I will continue to make more videos of this. Thank you for watching. Share, subscribe, comment, like. This is how you actually discharge the debt without holding liability and actually holding the ones who actually created the liability responsible. I'm still working on figuring out how to make insurance claims. Those are very complex. I will make a video on making insurance claims. But thank you for watching. Share, comment, like. And if you are watching this, and you like this, feel free to use this. The Fair Use Act provides that others can use this. The warnings that are up there are simply for commercial use if you were to use for business. So thank you. Watch, share, subscribe, like. Peace and love to all those who are watching, my brothers and sisters. Until next time, have a wonderful day.